Hi, Ange.
Hey Les, how you doing?
I'm ready for another episode of Black Boomer Besties from Brooklyn.
Damn Skippy, as am I, as am I.
Brooklyn.
Welcome. Wait, 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 I missed my cue.
You certainly did. He went into the
Okay,
damn Skippy. That
is it?
wasn't the cue. Sorry,
Okay,
we
wait.
moved on. This
Okay,
is a
set
live
me up.
show.
All right, set me up again, set me up again.
Welcome to another episode of Black Boomer Besties from Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
There you
There we
go.
go, there we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
What you been up to, pal?
Oh my gosh. That sounds like a setup because this
It
week
is a
has
setup
been.
because every single time I talk to you, you're like, I can't talk to you now. Or
Mm,
I only got 5 minutes. I'm in the
mm.
middle of reading. Or I'm preparing for my lecture. What lecture? What you talking
It's
about?
it's it's this week has been a week of deadlines, and they weren't sudden, but they were this week.
Were
And
they procrastinated deadlines or they
no,
were
not
on
at all.
schedule or
Not at all. And that's why I'm so calm, copacetic. The world is great. I'm not all stressed, even though I have some big things coming up. Or tomorrow morning, I'm delivering on one of the deadlines. I just did some wig styles for a local theater. I squeezed them in. They had an emergency, and so they're picking up tomorrow. And that was on my list this week. Meeting with some clients was on my list this week. What else? Well, I
wait,
have
wait,
this.
wait. Did I
What?
just hear you say emergency? Sorry, I moved my camera because I'm reaching for my spit film.
Your spit film, your pop filter.
My okay, my
Wait, wait.
pop filter. Sorry about
this
that. But this is live. Hey,
is live.
we get to have our bloopers.
We
So
do,
I
yeah.
just heard you say emergency wig pickup. What is that like? Hurry up. My hair is gone. I need a wig. Stat.
No, actually, I had a wig that I made that was picked up today, but the thing that was the emergency is a local theater needed some wigs styled for a production that is going into what we call tech, which is where all the minutia gets worked out and they have dress
Mhm.
rehearsals and so on. So I did that for them. It was maybe 5 weeks, so
I
not
see.
a big one, but I
Yeah.
certainly did not really have time for it. But I
The show
really,
must go on.
this show must go on. I really
What are
like
some of the
them.
other cliches? Break a leg.
Break a leg, yes, 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 all the things. So anyway, that's done and waiting by my front door for them to pick up in the morning because I don't know what time I'm getting to bed. Um, because yeah, one of the big things
Yeah.
is what's happening on Friday
Friday. 2 days, 2 days from
in two
now.
days. But I'm going to talk about that. But after that, I'll be out of town coming up your way for a really big thing. And so for the last 5 weeks, I've been preparing for that because I've had to do a lot of introspection and write. And so I'll talk to you about that too, because that's really exciting. So it's like one thing after the other. But here's what's amazing. Here's really what's amazing. I'm not overwhelmed. I'm busy, but I'm not overwhelmed. I feel like
Right.
I can manage my load because I chose what to do. I said yes when I wanted to say yes. I said no when I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to say no.
That's a good point. That's important.
Yes. So boundaries are becoming much easier for me to set and,
Yeah.
um, and what's the word? And uphold.
Mm-hmm.
And so have I mentioned it here before that I I got my what's called my assignment from the Lord to do a Black hair culture curriculum.
You might not.
Well,
Not
that's it
have.
right there. That's it. I don't know how long it's been now. Maybe 3 months when, I do my morning writing and which is just stream of consciousness. It's not journaling. I don't really journal per se. I just write what's on my mind and pray while I write, and just whatever comes to mind. I just get it out. And as I was writing, I got this download to create a curriculum to teach people about Black hair culture. And it was such as I wrote, I was crying. I was kind of bawling, to be honest, because
Why?
it connected so much of my past experiences, good and bad, around hair, where I am now in the hair space with the wigs and the theater and all of that, and what I want to do in the future, which is to educate and be an advocate, or continue to be an advocate for um, things involving Black women, primarily Black people. And so it just felt so aligned. And
Mm.
so that's what my big assignment is. And on Friday, I am going to a local university to do a talk about some of my research in
Mm.
Black hair culture, and I'm so
Hmm.
excited. I'm collaborating with Jazz on it, my sister, and it's so
I know that's
spectacular.
special. Yeah, yeah.
It's
The two
it's
of you.
so it's a lot.
What I'm gonna find somewhat interesting about that is that
Hmm.
you and Gertrude have two different mindsets,
We
and
do,
you come from two different disciplines for
yeah,
sure,
for
but
sure.
also the way that you think, almost right
Hmm.
brain left brain type of thing.
Hmm. Hmm.
Talk about that a little bit.
I'd say that's true. So, plus we have this sisterly dynamic. She's my older sister, and you know, we don't often collaborate on things like this. This is the first time I think that we're doing a talk together. She won't be there, so I'm bringing in her research. Um, but she won't be able to make it. So it's the first time that we've done this type of collaboration. So because we're different, I think that she's a professor, right? So she's
Yeah,
used to,
anthropologist.
yeah, medical anthropologist, so cultural anthropologist. So she is comes from a, well, let's investigate this, and what are all the possibilities, and really creating a platform where her students can reach their own conclusions, right?
Hmm.
Um, Nothing remotely wrong with that. But I'm coming more from my lived experience, and more, I would say, the practical applications of this, how
Hmm.
a lack of knowledge or wrong knowledge or things like that, how they affect people in their day to day. Like, how do they affect actors? How do they affect, um, people in studying theater? The school that I'm going to has a theater and dance program, so I'll be speaking
Yeah.
to those students. So it's a little different point of view, but I think what has been really surprisingly rewarding for me is that I've been able to kind of um, process her way of thinking, and
Mm.
it's made me sharper. It's made me more prepared to get up in front of I don't know how many people and talk about this with comfort, because I've already kind of worked through some of the different ways that the audience may be thinking,
Mm.
and I'm going into it with a lot more clarity, I think, and ways of explaining things. Because you know me, I'm really big picture. What does that mean exactly? What does that mean exactly?
Oh,
I
nothing.
want an
Let's
explanation.
bring it on back.
I want it right. That that right there,
Right.
which I think works in this creative setting, but I really want them to um, have specific, as you said, learning objectives for this talk.
Mhm.
So I feel really prepared. I'm excited about the topic. Wait, I have to read my the title that
Okay.
I have come up with. It is it is it is I've gone too far. It is an invitation to reimagine creative inquiry through the study of Black hair culture. And it's going to
Okay.
blow their minds because it's blowing my mind. And I thought I
Yeah.
knew. I
Yeah.
thought I knew some stuff, but it's blowing my mind. So it's really exciting.
Mhm.
And that'll be Friday.
Where, what was the impetus for this
Um,
download? Why
well,
the need?
why the
What is it
need
answering?
for the download? Or
For the lecture or the series?
oh, I see. Got it. So
Why is this an important part of their curriculum?
sure. For a couple of reasons. So these are um, students who will be in theater, students who will be teaching theater.
Hmm.
So different aspects, acting, dancing, those types of things, but also maybe leading to becoming directors um, and sharing this craft with younger folks if they go into teaching theater. And
Mm-hmm.
I, in my experience, my beliefs, and also what I have seen from, especially from working in theater, but it's certainly not just theater. I think that there is a very narrow understanding of Black hair culture. So it's not only, and I'll give some examples, but it's not only Black hair culture itself, but it's also getting people to think beyond the narrow ways that they may think. So don't think that you know everything, because the things that you don't know will blow your mind.
Mm.
And if you are, let's say you are directing, or in any way you're trying to, um, dramaturgy is the term for when you are creating the storyline and how all of the aspects of are coming together to tell that story. So it
Mm-hmm.
could affect the music, it could affect the design of the wigs and that whole thing.
Mm.
It's just creating that consistent storytelling. And I think the more that is known about culture, the more that story can be authentic.
Mm.
And so my focus is on Black hair culture because I think it's fascinating. Fascinating. Some of the things, the way that mathematics are related to Black hair culture, the way
Mm.
that, oh my gosh, so many things,
All
so
right, give some
many things.
examples. Like, what do you mean?
Oh my gosh. So one thing that's really interesting is there is this mathematical term called fractals.
Okay, I'm familiar with it.
Okay. So fractals
It makes me think
actually,
of a kaleidoscope when I think about fractal.
um, I'm not sure if it's a kaleidoscope. Maybe it's a
But you know how
kaleidoscope
a
is better.
kaleidoscope, when you look in it, it has like repeating patterns of triangles and symmetry,
Yes.
but it looks complex. But if you look at it, it's
Yes, and I
their
think maybe
patterns.
those are fractals because
Ah, really?
it's similar shapes in different scales. So let's say you look at something really big and you see it's a huge triangle. And then when you look closer and closer and closer, you see that it's made up of all these tiny, tiny triangles. So no matter
Mm. Mm-hmm.
what, whether you're far away or close up, you're going to see the same pattern.
Mm.
And
Mm-hmm.
you see it in nature all the time. If you think of a snail shell, right?
Yeah.
And you see it just all the way, and it has aspects of infinity in it, right? Because if you're repeating this pattern and you keep
Ah.
repeating it, there is that. And so this, he is an ethno-mathematician. There are actually two of them that I'm going to be talking about. One is a black woman, and one, I think it's a white guy. And his name is Ron Eglash, and her last name is Gilbert. What's her first name? Gloria Gilbert. They're both
Mm-hmm.
ethno-mathematicians, so they bring culture and mathematics together.
Really?
Yes,
Huh.
crazy, crazy,
Yeah,
crazy,
yeah, yeah,
crazy, and
yeah.
amazing. So, what Dr. Eglash saw is he's a, he comes from a Silicon Valley tech space, and he was looking at an aerial view of this village in Tanzania.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he noticed that there were these things called fractals, right? So he noticed that there were these big circles, and then within circles, there were circles, and then smaller circles, and everything was in
Mm-hmm.
these circular repeating
Mm-hmm.
patterns. And he actually codified it. He used code to describe it, and it followed the mathematical computation of fractals. So they were absolutely fractals. And he also saw this in hair braiding, in African hair braiding.
Wow.
And he actually developed some code that he went into some schools in Black and Latino neighborhoods and really trying to connect this thing that they're really familiar with this math that they may not be as familiar with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so they were able to code different braiding patterns using a computer.
Wow.
And it really
That's
connected to
something
them
else.
because this thing that they think is just way out there, but they see it all the
Right.
time in
I love that aspect of it because it's I can think of so many different instances where like someone says, I don't like math, I don't do math. And then
exactly.
you point out to them like, do you keep a checkbook? Do
Right.
you do such and such
No, no.
when you do you give a 15% tip every time? It's like,
Mhm.
you're doing math,
Exactly. It's that
but
type of thing.
we don't think about that.
It's that
Yeah.
type of thing.
Hair
And the
braiding math. What?
Yeah, the other part of it is that we are taught that nothing of value other than music or dancing or things like that come out of the continent. And it turns out that these fractals, these structures, were way more advanced. I mean, it's how computers are developed. And
Hmm.
European mathematicians didn't really recognize this until I think it was in the 70s. But
Really?
this has been going
As in
back.
1970s?
Yeah, that's when it got named and it was kind of identified as this kind of non um,
Random.
what's the word? Well, not only it's not random. Usually, mathematics is it's outside of the standard way that we learn math. So this was a brand new way, but it is the way that math is used in computers, and so you would not think,
Mhm.
because of the way that our educational systems are set up, that this type of technology comes out of the African continent, but in fact it does. And
Mm.
so that's pretty interesting.
Wow, it certainly is. And you're going to talk about this on in your lecture.
Right. And again, just tying it back, it's a way to um, show the students that they have to remain curious. They can't think that a thing is a thing, that what they see is all there is, or what they've heard is all there is.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
beyond that it's Black hair culture. It's also um, things are more than they seem, and so be inquisitive. In whatever design or creative endeavor that you're in, you have to remain inquisitive. And if you thought that braids were just that and not all this other
mm,
stuff, and this is
yeah,
just one
yeah.
example, so it's really
Hmm.
just getting them to reimagine, as the title suggests, to reimagine creativity through
Hmm.
looking at Black hair culture differently. So that's one of a few examples.
Oh, that's pretty heavy.
Yeah, it's heavy. We're also going to talk about some of the ways that enslaved Africans, how hair became ways that they showed their individuality, ways that they sought to escape using hair. And
Mm,
people may know some of those things, using cornrows to show direction and things like that. But
right.
there's more
Yeah,
than
I've heard
that.
about that. Hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot more than that. And
Using braiding and hairstyles to code different messages and
exactly. Yeah, yeah. So
geez, wow.
I know it's pretty. My mind is blown. Like, it gives me a headache
Wow.
every time I learn something new, because, like, oh my God. So it's really exciting for me, and I hope to make it exciting for the students, and they will
Nice.
never look at braids the same way again. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow, that's pretty cool.
it is. I feel like it is.
Uh-huh.
So that's what I'll be doing on
And
Friday.
you were going to teach a class, but they asked if more members
Oh,
of the university body can come in and listen.
yeah,
No
yeah.
pressure.
No, no,
No
because
pressure.
yeah, look, when you prepare for a talk, you're gonna do it well, whether it's one person or, 200 people. I don't
Hmm.
know how many people are gonna be there, to be honest. Um, but
What if you do
whomever.
Ed Norton did with Ralph Cramden?
Hello
Hello out there
there
in
in
TV
TV land.
land.
I may do that, actually, break the
Guilty.
ice.
I'm the chef of the future.
Why do you
Zoop,
know this
zoop,
stuff
zoop.
by heart? Why do you
Oh
know
my
this
God,
by
because
heart?
when you've seen it 5,000 times, it's my
Wow.
favorite thing. But
Wow.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. So that's coming up, and next week, and I'll just say this really briefly. I am actually um, developing my another talk, if you will, but it's kind of like my signature story, or one of my signature stories,
Right. Yeah.
about what I learned, the lesson I learned when I got fired because they didn't want me to wear braids at work. And so I'm developing a story around that, and it will be filmed and all the things, and that's next week. So
Hmm.
all of these things are aligning
I
and
see why you
converging,
haven't
and I'm
had
so
time for
excited.
me.
What's that?
I see why you've had limited time with me.
You know, yeah. But I'll see you when I come up, I
Wah,
think.
wah.
Wah, wah, wah. But it's exciting. And
It is.
let me just say something else.
What?
I have reached a point in my life right now, where um, I feel unstoppable.
Mm.
Like, um, there's no angst. It's just make the next right decision
Mm-hmm.
and keep moving. Just keep moving. I now know what I don't know, right? Because earlier
Right.
on, you don't know what you
That's
don't know.
important.
Now I
Yeah.
know what I don't know, and I'm getting very specific answers to my questions, right? Because when you know what you don't know, you can say, okay, I need to know this. I'm going to learn it. I'm going to apply it, and I'm going to learn the next thing. So I just feel like really, uh, really aligned and feeling good in the neighborhood.
All right, I got some music for you.
Oh Lord, oh Lord, am I going to sing?
You don't know it?
I can't hear it well enough.
I'll wait till the chorus.
You have to sing it because we're not supposed to play other people's music. Can you sing it?
I'm unstoppable
Oh,
today. I'm not a good singer.
that one.
I'm unstoppable.
Oh,
Come
oh
on,
yes.
you're
Dun, dun, dun,
unstoppable
dun, dun,
today.
dun, dun. Got it. Got it. Thank you. Yeah, I feel
All
that
right.
way.
Ding.
And you know what? You know you're a big part of that because
How so?
well, you just you're such an amazing listener. You're a cheerleader. You know, and I think you're taking on too much. And then I'll say, not so much. And then I'll say, maybe. And then I'll take something off the
It's
list.
like, Les,
Um, I
I
trust
decided.
you. I
Yeah.
trust you. I enjoy this podcast, even with everything going on.
Hmm.
I enjoy this time with you, and this is a part of why I feel the way that I do because to me this is like serving. You know, this is how we serve others, and that's important to
By
me
sharing
too.
your talents.
Yeah, 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 and
And the
sharing
other thing,
sharing my
because
friendship.
yeah, you did give me a little pushback when I said to you, I thought I was concerned that you might be doing too much or,
Yeah,
and after you thought about it, you kind of cleared out some of the ideas that you had.
I
And then
did.
look at this big thing that opened up.
I know.
So it's almost
Yeah,
like you made room in a whole other part of
that's
your
exactly right.
mind
That's
for
exactly
this to
right.
develop. And it was like, boom,
Yeah,
okay, this is where you want to spend your time.
exactly,
That's
exactly.
that's a bold move.
That's what happened. Well, you had
Yeah,
something to
I
do
give
with
you.
that. If I didn't listen to you, be like, you
Yeah.
don't know me. You don't
Yeah.
know me.
Don't
Back
tell me
off.
what to do.
Don't tell me what to
Or don't
do.
tell me what not to do.
Who you is?
Yeah.
Who you think you is? Mm-mm.
Exactly, exactly.
No,
Wow,
but
this is
yeah.
awesome, man.
Thank you.
Now in one of our future podcasts, we got to talk more about this. So
We
this is to
will.
be continued because I got to know how it went and
Yeah.
what they got from it, and how it developed even more.
All the things you will hear about them, and I will share because this is exciting, and I am an advocate for this body of work, and so I'm going to share it as broadly as I can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And next time we get together, what I want you to expand on, and I'm sure it will come up, is
Mm-hmm.
how this is going to make a difference to the listeners and what people in theater specifically
Right.
will take away from this type of knowledge and
Sure.
understanding.
Sure. And
Yeah.
what I'll say too is that when you're a creative, right, your the ways that you synthesize information is different, right? Each person is different, right?
Okay.
Because
Sure.
as a creative, you're bringing together ideas that you have heard about from your childhood, whatever, and bringing it into a
Mm-hmm.
moment, right? So it's not always this. They're going to learn this, and this, and they're going to use it this, and this way.
Mm-hmm.
It's more that the more that they know, the more that they will be authentic, compassionate. It maybe it's not because an actor is a diva that they are responding a certain way when you approach them around their hair. Maybe there's something else going on. Show them some grace.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Sure,
It's
sure.
things like that. So it's not
Yeah,
always linear um, this linear thing. It is just
yeah.
something that I hope will affect just them as human beings, that they will be better for it.
Sure, sure. When I asked you about it and you started responding, I started thinking in terms of, the way that I am in a linear way.
Yeah,
Okay. Like you get
right,
this information. What is the
right,
result? I want to see the result right here.
right,
It's like
right,
ask and then answer.
right,
I guess
right,
more like
right.
Gertrude in that response.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah.
Well, it's like I think I told you before about what happened when I was doing a wig supervisor on The Color Purple at the local theater here, and there was that scene with Suge and Celie, and Celie was doing her hair,
Mm-hmm.
and in most productions, Suge is wearing a wig when that happens, and I asked the director if she could do it unwigged, because to me that's a tender moment. That's a cultural moment when someone is scratching someone else's scalp,
Mm,
and it would not have been um, uh, it would, for me, the authenticity would have been missing
yeah,
if there was a
yeah.
wig, because the wig wasn't like a parted wig, it was a fancy wig for her next scene. And so I asked if she could not be wigged, and he said yes, and it just became
Yeah.
this, and I know people in the audience, black or otherwise, but mostly black people, would recognize that as being really real,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
versus
Yeah,
ain't nobody
yeah.
gonna be messing with her hair, nobody's gonna be
Right,
scratching
right.
it.
In
A hair.
between the curls and
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly. So
Don't
it's
touch
things
my
like
hair.
that. It's things like that, that it
Yeah.
won't be
A lot of
that.
people, I guess, wouldn't even realize that.
Exactly. So it will manifest. This knowledge will manifest in very different ways for different people, because you're bringing
Hmm.
in your own experiences into it. But I know, and one of the reasons why I know is because I sent a survey to every director that I've worked with in the last 5 years,
Wow.
and I asked
Okay.
them, "What do you think?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Gave them two questions and score it from 1 to 5, and every one of them said yes, yes, yes. Well, yes, yes, because it was just two questions. And so I'm looking forward to um, serving in this way.
All right. Well, go ahead, teacher.
Thank you, thank you. Is that's what we're going to talk about? Just my stuff?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right. We're keeping them around. We're keeping them a little shorter,
All right. Yeah.
which is
We
good.
got more to talk about later. We'll see everybody next week.
We'll see you next week.
All right. This has been another episode of Black Boomer Besties from Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.